There are very few things in life that really matter. The birth of a child or the wedding of a daughter are just a few of these things. For most people, these moments are impossible to miss as they're essential in the history of a family. Soldiers, however, are not that lucky. They often have to be somewhere else while important events occur in their homes. The graduation of their kids, the birthdays of their mothers, we could go on and on. But in this particular case, a first lieutenant serving in Afghanistan got the good news that he was going to be sent home to meet his newborn daughter. Jack Osborne, the man of this story, had found out his wife was pregnant with their first child. Unfortunately, just a few days later, he was informed he would be deployed to Afghanistan in a bit less than a month. The news made the soldier sad as he knew he wouldn't be present at the birth of his daughter. But despite his feelings at the moment, he obeyed his commander and left to serve his country. His wife, Chelsea Osborne, was used to having her husband gone for long periods of time, but being that this was the first time she was pregnant, having to cope with the idea that her partner wouldn't be present to support her through the pregnancy process was hard. However, Jake's family made sure Chelsea got everything she needed while the first lieutenant was in Afghanistan. Months had already happened and Osborne's wife was days away to give birth to their first new child. She had no idea how much longer she'd have to wait to finally see her husband go back home and meet the new member of their family. All she desired was for him to be safe. First Lieutenant Jake Osborne on his side was of course sad to know he'd be missing such an important moment as the birth of his baby girl, which is why he was so happy when on the 12th of May 2015 his commander gave the order for him to pack his bags and go home on leave. 2 days later, Jake was out of Afghanistan and ready to gather with his wife once again. But as he waited for his next flight in the airport, he found out that Chelsea had already gone into labor. Jake was indeed going to miss the moment in which his new baby girl came into the world. His sister, however, stayed with him on the phone and told him every detail of the birth until he had to board the plane. Jake, a brave man in battle, was on his way to face something for which he hadn't been trained, being a father. So as soon as the plane landed in the city of Athens, Georgia, he rushed to get to the hospital where his wife was waiting for him with their newborn daughter resting on her arms. As Jake entered the room, his family and the nurse stared at his reaction. For most of them, it was priceless. Jake had no idea of what to do but just smile. He actually froze for a second. The touching moment made Jake and his family cry of happiness and celebrate such wonderful times. They all hugged and took pictures of the moment so that it could be kept as a valuable memory. But despite all the positive emotions at the time, there was bad news to tell. Jake still had to return to Afghanistan, as he'd only been allowed to return for a week to see his newborn daughter. However, in just 2 months after that, he would return to be with her and his wife again. The couple of spouses decided to name their little girl Paisley. Finally, in a video posted by the Piedmont Athens Regional Medical Center, Jake gave a few more details on how he was able to return home in time to see his newborn daughter. He's said to have been deployed to Afghanistan at the end of October and had no hopes of being able to come back to accompany his wife in such a difficult moment. But as soon as he was given the news that he could go back home, he was put on a bird, military term to describe a helicopter, and flew out of Afghanistan to then wait in an airport that would take him back to his family. In the video, he also explained he and his wife had spent the entire time he was gone joking with how it didn't really set in with him that they were about to have a baby. Overall, Jake was happy to see his wife and his new baby girl were completely healthy. As for his reaction, he said he didn't know what to do other than just smile and giggle like a schoolgirl. After all, the excitement of the moment had left him frozen in the middle of the room. Jake was lucky to get the opportunity that so many soldiers away from their home don't often get. And now that it's been 3 years since the birth of little Paisley, we know both of her parents love her so much. You can watch the full reaction of Jake when entering the room of his newborn daughter, clicking the link in the description below.